Hello and welcome to this video. Are you struggling with having a great sounding mix? I'm going to show you what I did with a 5-minute ear workout to train your ears how you can actually detect frequencies that are creating trouble in your mix. All right, so let's move on to logic. Let me describe to you, first of all, what's important. Frequency balance is the most important part of having a great sounding mix. Yes, when you do the level balance of and your panning balance. Sorry, I'm looking for my words. Your panning balance. Yes, it is important, but not to me as important as having a great frequency balance. So you need to learn and you need to train your ears to detect issues. And let me show you how I did it 5 years ago when I started. I made myself a little session called a training session where I would take 5 minutes a day and train my ears to detect frequency range. So first of all, let's talk about what I'm talking about frequency range. I've pulled up on the screen here exactly how it is spread on the frequency spectrum. So between 20 and 60 hertz, it's subwoofer. So you probably already know what subwoofer is. It is that low frequency energy that sometimes you can feel, but you cannot hear it, depending on the status of your hearing. And this is called boomy when you're mixing. Well, I call it boomy. When you're mixing and you're hearing some boom, 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 and it's too much, well, it's boomy. Then afterwards, the low or the bass frequencies between 60 hertz and 250 hertz, this is what I call muddy. And this is the area that is the most affected by bad sounding mix. There's too much going on there. Bass, drums are there, like the bass drum. You've got some guitars, distorted guitars, where the low frequencies are present there, or acoustic guitar. You got keys, strings, piano. You've got many elements having this frequency spectrum playing at the same place, and you need to control them so that your mix doesn't sound muddy. And the low mids between 200 and 500, which I call boxy. It feels like the sound is coming out of a box, like exactly. It's like in a box, you see? And then you've got the mid-range, which is between 500 and 2K, that I call nasal.
It sounds like this. You see, it sounds like a phone call if you want.
And then you've got the high mids between 2 and 4K, and you have the presence between 4 and 6K. I put them in the same category. Yes, in around 6K, it gives you clarity on a vocal or any instrument where you might need a bit of clarity, but mostly between 2 and 6, it's actually harshness. It hurts. It hurts the ears when there's too much buildup there and you need to control it. Like, for example, my voice is a lot harsh. There's a lot happening right there, and I always need to control it very badly. And then you've got what we call the brilliance, or the air between 6K and 20K. All right, so let me show you what I did. So 5 years ago when I started mixing, my biggest problem, the biggest problem that I was facing is knowing what frequencies I was hearing. I was hearing that the frequency balance wasn't right, but I technically didn't know where to go. So I would put a EQ in and I would start playing around with the frequencies and trying to find the bad frequency. But you know what? When you do that, they all sound bad. So when you are able to pinpoint where it is, it makes your life a lot easier to find frequencies that are being bad, and you need to pull them down. All right, so let me show you. I've pulled up my song called Sing a Song. It's on Spotify. You can look it up. Just enter my name, Sylvain Rochon, and you can listen to it. It was recorded in my home studio when I was set up in my dining rooms, and it sounds pretty good. So you can do music even if you don't have a studio per se. All right, let's press play, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm using a stock EQ from Logic, which is a great tool for me. And I'll demonstrate what I'm doing, and I'll try to talk at the same time to see if my microphone is picking it up. For sure, I can lower down the volume on my console to make sure you hear me, but I do want you to hear what I'm doing. All right, so I'll press play, and I'll go from one frequency range to the other and explain to you what you should be hearing. Let's press play. That area is boominess. Maybe you'll say, "Oh man, that gives the song some oomph. That bottom, it sounds But when your song's going to be playing on a system or in a car that's got a subwoofer, it will be too much. And actually having too much going on down there actually plays around with your vocal, which your vocals are not clear anymore. So you might be boosting one side and it creates an issue on the other side, and you definitely don't want to go on the other side and say, you know what, oh, I can't hear the vocals, I'm going to go around 2K, 3K, and I'm pull it up so that the vocals are heard. No, you don't want to do that because it won't sound great. So that's the first thing that I kept. So boominess. Next, I won't talk in between each of them. I will try to talk at the same while it's playing, and I'm going to make sure you understand what I'm saying or what I'm doing. That's muddiness. You hear how it removes the clarity. I'm stopping again, sorry. That portion of the frequency spectrum, when it's too high, most of the time around 100 hertz, I actually get nausea when I hear that. I know when it's bad because my body reacts. So let's move on. Boxiness. Nasal. Harsh. Air. Brilliance. So, doing this exercise once a day in 5 minutes, to pull yourself a timer. If you're on the Mac, put the timer on, 5 minutes, play whatever song you want, and just turn on and off each frequency band. And when you turn it on, just don't turn it on and back off. When you turn it on, take the time to really, really listen what it's doing to the song. So when you do mix and you hear that, eventually your brain's going to say, Hey, Sil, I've heard that before. I heard that go in, I don't know, at 200 hertz. And you will go around there and you'll say, you know what, brain, you're right. Why? Because I'm taking the time to train my ears. Like Joe Gilder says, golden ears. Anyways, let's do it again and let's really absorb what you're hearing. And then I'll give you little tips when you're mixing of frequencies that you want to watch for. So let's press play and do it all again. Muddiness. That was boominess, by the way.
We live in a strange world. Can we call
Boxiness.
it a fair world? We better live in the moment. With you, it's always pleasant. Tomorrow's a new day. I'll be waiting
Nasal.
for you. If I may, I'll give you my heart, give you my soul.
Harshness.
Feel the rhythm of rock and roll. Sing a song. Feel the vibe, just feel the laughter. Sing a song.
Take 5 minutes a day. It's fast. 5 minutes a day. Pull up a session like that. Save it. Call it training. I don't know. And do this 5 days. 5 days, or you can do it. I was doing it 7 times a day. 7 times a week, sorry. So every day. And I did that for, I think it's around 6 months when I started. And now I do it once in a while. So just to keep my brain up to date with the updates. And that really helps you. So now, giving you a bit of information on what frequency should you watch for when you're mixing. Let me pull up a second EQ. I'm going to turn that one down. So one frequency that you need to watch for, well, actually there's two at the bottom here. There's the 60 hertz and there's the 200 hertz. The 60 hertz is where the bass drum lives and the bass lives. So you want to be careful not to create any muddiness around there. You want the two elements to live together and to work together. So normally, giving you a little tip here, when you mix a drum kit with bass, go to the bass track and you can actually notch the bass where the bass drum is picking out. And you can easily go on the drum track, pull up an EQ, and you can actually where it is. Normally it's around 60, but sometimes it can be 55, maybe 63. So find out exactly which one, and you notch it maybe from a dB and a half. There's no magic numbers. You just hear it. So just lower it down until it feels comfortable and it sounds great. And you will do the same thing with the 200. The 200 frequency is where normally the snare drum lives. The actual bottom part of the snare drum. It lives around 200 hertz. So maybe you want to notch the bass right there just to make sure that this snare drum actually is heard. That's another tip. Another great tip is that be careful between 60 hertz and 250 hertz. The muddy area can be your worst nightmare. So if you have, let's say you're mixing a song and you have an acoustic guitar and there's a lot happening between that frequency, and listen to your acoustic guitar. the playing, it all depends if it was played with a pick or its finger style. It changes how you mix it. But if this part of the frequencies called the bass between 60 and 250, if your acoustic guitar, if you remove it, so take a high pass filter, just remove it, go to 250, does it still sound good? Are you missing maybe lower elements of that acoustic track? If not, just remove it. Remove it from the equation, because you've got the bass drum there, and you want to make sure that you don't create any muddiness. So this is a little trick I'm giving you. Same thing with electric guitars. Distorted electric guitars are some of the worst enemies you'll have, because sometimes the way that the guitar player recorded it, he's got a lot of low frequency, chuck-a-chuck guitar kind of a thing. And sometimes it creates muddiness here where you don't have issues with hearing the bass properly, and the bass drum is like buried because the guitar is going at the bottom. Remove go to 250, listen to it. Is that guitar losing its impact? If it is, you've got tricks to control that, which will be part of other videos. I won't get into it, but there's a way you can make sure that everyone can live in that area and still you'll get a great sounding mix. But that comes with you training your ears. First thing you need to do every day, 5 minutes. Take the time to do this trick, and I promise you that within a month, you'll see a big difference when you mix a song. So my name is Sylvain Rochon from HomeStudioLogic.com. If you like content like this, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I take the time to answer every comment. And if you want to start a chat or you want to discuss, there's absolutely no problem. There's another way you can do it. You can go on my website. At the bottom of the website, you can subscribe to my website, which you'll get emails from me with different information, but also you'll have access to my free 8-step mixing guide so that you can start your mix and finish it, and then you're ready to put it on digital platforms. Until then, I thank you very much for watching this movie. Oh my God, this video. I thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.